The Auburn Tigers continue to make big all-season moves as Kenyatta Watson announces that he is remaining at Auburn in his current role. Let's talk about it on this live edition of the Uptempo podcast. Yes, sir. What is up, Auburn family? What's up, Uptempo gang? Dustin Smith and Blake Lane. Another Tuesday night live edition of the Uptempo podcast. Blake, we're going to the bottom of the first inning with Troy, Auburn baseball team, so we'll be sure to keep up with that. Got some big things happening in the football program. Everybody's trying to poach our guys. They're trying to get our behind-the-scenes recruiting coordinators, man. They're trying to get our defensive coordinators. They're trying to steal our wide receiver coaches. But Auburn and Hugh Freeze standing strong. Going to take a look at the baseball team. Like I said, they're currently playing versus Troy, but they went 2-1 opening series this weekend versus Holy Cross. We'll talk a little bit about that. If you guys want to talk basketball, we can talk some basketball. Auburn remaining at number 1 in the country. Got a big matchup tomorrow. I was looking at the schedule today, Blake. I said, oh, my God, like there's no days off. There's no days off in the SEC this year. So just a nice little update on Auburn sports, man, because it's been a busy week. It's that time of year. So whatever you guys want to talk about, get into the comment section tonight. Hit us up, and we'll be glad to do it. But we want to start off with a big win because we already know that Auburn had to fight off Ohio State, the now defending national champions, to keep the defensive coordinator, DJ Durkin. And we had to fight off the runner-up, Blake, Notre Dame, because they tried to come in and steal Kenyatta Watson. And me and you were talking right before we hit record. This is big time because it feels like he's involved in a lot of these guys that are currently on the roster, recruiting that Atlanta area very well. We know how involved he is with Deuce Knight. So spring portal could have got iffy if Notre Dame would have came in here and took Kenyatta away. I love what he said when he said, hey, I want to stay here and I want to finish what I've started. We've started building something here. I don't want to just walk away from it. And then it also came out a little bit, maybe about a week ago, that Oregon trying to steal Marcus Davis. So that's 3 guys that recently other teams have tried to come in and poach from Auburn, 3 winning programs that are on a much higher pedestal than Auburn is right now. But Auburn was able to keep all those guys in the fold. So, Blake, just kind of what are your thoughts on the job that Hugh Freeze and the administration and the staff have done of keeping everybody in the fold and continuing to build this thing?
I tell y'all what, if we'd have lost Kenyatta, I'd have been very, very upset, but I would have started questioning things. I would have started thinking that there was going to be a mass exodus in the spring portal. Like I would start looking at certain guys and saying, hey, that guy might leave, because a lot of these players were very open, Dustin, with their relationship with Kenyatta. And they're active on social media with Kenyatta. And you saw Deuce. He said, you know the move, baby. Like, it's up from here. Let's go. So if Kenyatta left, how are some of these kids? Are they committed to a school? Or are they committed to a coach? Or because we saw in basketball, LeBaron Filan, he didn't seem committed to Auburn. He seemed committed to Wes Flanagan.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then it turned into, okay, well, Flanagan went to Ole Miss. I got Kansas over here, Alabama. So I don't think they're committed to a school anymore. Like, you don't fall in love with the school. Right. I asked Jalen Simpson, why Auburn? He said, because I fell in love with the university. It wasn't just the football program. It was the university. Like, it was the city, just being able to walk around town and Toomer's Corner and all that. He was like, that's what I fell in love with. I think these guys, a lot of these dudes were tied in with Kenyatta, and they're very close to him. And so that's why I would have been extremely nervous. And then you flip over to Marcus Davis, and we just look at what he's done. And we've actually been up close and personal watching him recruit. And I think he does a fine job. I think he's a great coach. I think he's an up-and-comer. for him to stay at Auburn, especially with a program like Oregon coming knocking on the door. Do these guys believe in what Hugh Freeze is preaching? Like, do they believe in the vision? Do they believe what's happening at Auburn is something positive in the future? That could be a sign for me. Like maybe these guys are all balled in, like DJ Durkin not going to Ohio State. It's still shocking to me that DJ stayed at a school who went 5-7 last year, and he could have dipped to Ohio State, who just won a national championship, who's, by the way, they're going to compete for a national championship again next year. Like, they have the best player in college football with Jeremiah Smith. I mean, he chose Auburn. He chose to stay at Auburn. So I love what Hugh Freeze is doing so far. Because if this could have got out of hand, y'all, if these three guys would have bounced, or just say two out of the three, if two out of the three would have bounced, we would have been sitting there scratching our heads going, hey, we're going into year 3. What's going on? We're all out of sorts. Like, where are we at? Where are we at as a football program? Because we've already done the offensive coordinator thing, Dustin. So if DJ would have left, we would have had to once again replace another defensive coordinator. You would have been Roberts, Durkin, now somebody else. Like
Jeff Smetting. Remember Jeff Smetting?
yeah, it would have been all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So we would have been scrambling once again, another off season going into it in scramble mode. But Hugh locked it down and made it happen, and these guys all stayed home. The biggest one, obviously DJ Durkin, but Kenyatta, man, just the relationship with the players for him to stay, that makes me feel really, really good, because now I'm not as worried about that spring portal. And it just feels like, okay, you can lock in on the spring game, you can lock in on spring practice, and you can put your head down, you can go to work and say, hey, let's get better each and every day, and let's go have a year in 2025. Because guess what, baby? I tell y'all one thing I'm so excited about in 2025 is us hitting Pat Dye Field with the Nike swoosh on the Auburn jersey. All right. I can't.
Nice.
I'm pumped up for 2025. All this has happened. New uniforms were no longer with Under Armour. My goodness, get me to 2025. Get me to the fall of 2025 immediately.
Yeah, that's gonna be sick. I can't wait to I can't wait till the gear starts dropping, dude. It's time for some new. I haven't even bought stuff the last couple of years, or since the Nike thing's been announced, because like I'll just wait.
Yeah.
Auburn Dad says, didn't Marcus get recruited somewhere else? Yeah, Oregon. Oregon was trying to get Marcus to come over there and be wide receiver coach. Talking about Marcus Davis, Auburn's current wide receiver coach. So yeah, Oregon tried to get him. So like I said, that's 3 big time programs. Oregon trying to get Marcus Davis, Ohio State trying to get DJ Durkin, and Notre Dame trying to get Kenyatta Watson, and you kept them all. And I think it's important thing too here is that you lost Charles Kelly. So if you would have lost like one of these guys or two more of these guys, it would have really started to kind of chip away at your recruiting infrastructure. But you've kept it intact for the most part, and it tells me too that why are these successful programs trying to come get our guys? Because they're these 3 people we're talking about. One, DJ did a great job on the field, and then obviously so did Marcus for what he did with Lambert Smith and Cam Coleman. But they're really good recruiters. Like people around the country are looking and saying, why in the world is Auburn going 5-7 and getting number 6, number 7 class? And they do a little deep dive and they find out, oh, this guy over here is really good at his job. This guy over here is really good at his job. This guy over here is really good at his job. And they're trying to come poach him. So first time I saw Jason Caldwell at 247, so give him credit, posted on Twitter today an article. The first time since 2018, Auburn is returning both coordinators on each side of the ball. First time since 2018. So hopefully a little bit of unity, a little bit of cohesion on the staff. And Kenyatta, like that's just such an important guy behind the scenes. So hopefully we'll be able to get all this stuff. Wow, what a throw. What a throw from the Troy second baseman there over the first. Auburn advancing runners, making a little noise here in the bottom of the first. But look, man, I'm overall very excited. It's, Hugh Freeze has the ability There's so much that I like about Hugh Freeze and what he's shown us. His ability to recruit out of the high school and out of the portal. I love the way he's kind of you look at a team like Clemson, Blake, where they just finished 26th in high school recruiting. Like it couldn't be more obvious that that program is losing its grip, that they're not able to adjust to the times. And then I look at Hugh, and he had that portal cycle last year where he felt like he whiffed, he missed on a lot of guys, he adjusted his strategy, and then in this portal cycle, really went out and attacked the positions and needs and got mostly everybody that he wanted to get. So it just kind of show there's so much about Hugh Freeze that I like his ability to build a staff. I'm really impressed by an offensive minded guy that, if you look out his whole career, has been able to hire elite coaches on the defensive side. Like he usually nails his defensive hire. I'm looking last year and I'm like, shit, we lose Coach Garrett and you're bringing up Coach Williams, who's never coached D line before, and I'm like, D line in the SEC, this is a really important position. Yeah, he does great on the field, and he puts together probably the best unit in the 2025 class. So there's so much to like about Hugh Freeze, and like I said it before, I said it when the season ended. I'm sure he's going to crush now until the ball gets kicked off. I got no doubt about that. Like the visits are starting to line up. You're going to see big time prospects come in. You're going to see guys commit. How about Jameis Winston's little brother? Kind of is visiting Auburn on an OV in a little bit, and I kind of feel like that family owes us one. Like, yeah, y'all kind of owe us a little bit. You took something from me. So we know who's gonna kill it when it comes to all that. He's gonna crush when it comes to hiring these assistant coaches, and his recruiting staff that he puts together off the field is great. And shout out to Will Redmond. He's doing a great job. So we're gonna talk about all these positive things all summer, and the questions will start once Baylor once we kick the ball off us better, that's when all the real questions and we'll get the real answers that we need. But shout out to Hugh Freeze as far as building the infrastructure of this program. It's nice to see cohesion, man. And, if Ohio State would have came and got DJ, or Oregon would have came and got Marcus, or if you would have lost Kenyatta to Notre Dame, that'd have been tough. And what do you think about this, Blake? When Brett says Deuce would have went to Notre Dame with Kenyatta, because we know that
For
committed
sure.
to Notre Dame for a long time.
For sure. That's the one I was kind of like hinting at mostly was the dude was committed to Notre Dame. And if Kenyatta would have bounced, and I feel like Deuce's closest relationship was him. And spring portal comes, Deuce, I think he probably would have bounced. And he'd have been like, oh, well, it was Notre Dame. So let
Yeah.
me get up there. I just, and I maybe some other ones, like maybe some other big time players that have that close relationship, and just his ties to Atlanta, like him, you guys remember the Eric Singleton stuff. Remember when people were like, "Hey, when is this happening? Like, what's going on? Is Eric Singleton, is he requesting more money from Miami or whatever?" Like, he just hasn't committed. He was supposed to commit, but he hasn't committed. And then Kenyatta tweeted and he said, "Hey, everybody, calm down. I got this in the bag. All right." It's the ties in the state of Georgia with Kenyatta for me as well, because back when Auburn was the Auburn that we all love, back when we were competitive and we were at the top of the league in the SEC, what did our roster look like?
A lot of
Boy,
Alabama kids, a lot of Georgia kids, and you got to have a couple of studs from Florida.
there you go. All right, there you go. Boy, we had some Georgia studs, and then somehow, some way, through it all, we kind of lost track of that recipe: Alabama, Georgia, Florida studs, and
Kirby Smart took the Georgia thing
there
from us.
you go. Oh, Bootski, that's a run.
You're a little bit ahead of me. I'm on the 3-1 count.
Oh, routine ground ball.
Okay.
But Auburn caught a break in
Oh,
baseball.
let's go.
Finally, couldn't catch a
Let's
break
go.
the other night. But yeah, that's the thing for me, Dustin, is just that, like, the relationships, and you keep Deuce, and you finally got that quarterback that you can hopefully have him stick around and develop, and you can kind of get that off your back, right? Because Auburn, they can't develop quarterbacks, and the Walker White thing happened, and hopefully Deuce and Kenyatta can stay around and they can grow together. So I think that'd be get out of here, ball. Get out of here, ball. Bang! Let's go. I'm sorry. I know we're live. My bad.
No, no, no. I think the people. I put it in the description. We are watching the baseball game live. This is the Auburn Sports Update. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good AB, baby. Good AB. Tigers take the lead. They're gonna give us 4-0 on Troy. Troy's ranked, man. This is like they're ranked and we're not type thing. So this is a really big midweek matchup for Auburn. Jumping out to the early lead here. Derek Fabian with a 3-1 shot. Let's go, boys. Let's go.
I'll tell you something too, Dustin. Troy is ranked, and there's a little juice behind this game, y'all, because there's been a little trash talk that Troy was going to come in our trap and take over our trap, that this was the year that they were going to put it on us. They were going to make a statement in the state of Alabama. Now, obviously, bottom first, we still got a long way to go, but this is a hot start after what we watched this past weekend, right? So
Yeah.
this is a big one. Don't let just because it's Troy and they're in the Sun Belt and all that, they're a ranked baseball team. They're 3-0. They're projected to win their conference. They're projected to go pretty far in the tournament. So good for Auburn coming out here and getting up early.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good hit there from Derek Fabian. Brett says, speaking of Eric Singleton, he and Cam Coleman have been named the best wide receiver duo in the country. Yeah, I mean, I can see
Mm,
it. But I would say that Cam Coleman and KLS were a pretty good duo, and
mm,
it didn't amount to a lot of wins. So there's a lot that goes into that. But yeah, the weapons are there. The weapons are definitely going to be there for Jackson Arnold, for Hugh Freeze. My questions aren't even like I have questions about Jackson Arnold, obviously, but it's more so of, what does the offense get organized? Can we put together a clean product and go out there and compete? And I don't think that this Auburn offense next year is going to have to be a top 10 offense, top 15 offense in the country. It's got to be top 40, top 45, and protect the football. And then I think Auburn easily with that schedule at least gets to 8-4, possibly 9-3, and anything after that would be a big bonus. But so I'm excited, man. And when I look forward to it, I have a lot of questions. We're going to get a lot of answers, I hope, here in spring. I'm really looking forward to spring. I think there's a lot of position battles. I'm really excited to see the running back room. I'm really excited to see some of these guys that like Demarcus Reddick has what his next step looks like, what Jalen Crawford's next step looks like. And we talked about some of this on the member pod that we are going to have dropping for you guys. So if you're interested in that kind of content, the exclusive content where we drop intel, recruiting intel, we break down. Blake gets in there and breaks down baseball at bats for you guys. Just watch the film on the baseball. I do watch the film on the Auburn football recruiting. Blake does some of that as well. He went to the Alabama Mississippi All-Star game. Got a bunch of good content out of all those guys for Auburn that showed out. And surprise, surprise, Blake, we're already hearing that those guys are showing out on campus on all season. Yeah. Yeah. Are you surprised to hear that Jordan Crawford is killing it in all season workouts and he looks like an NFL player?
I told y'all he was going. I told you he was going to play early, and I told you he would probably possibly start. Like that's how good he is.
Yeah, yeah, he is a stud, and I'm really listen, man. This is good content. We want you guys to get in here and join the family. So $3.99 a month for the JV squad, $5.99 a month. The one that we got coming out for you guys this week broke down Auburn's newest commitment on the basketball court. That's out
Mm,
four. I was told, Blake. I was told Bruce Pearl wasn't going to be able to recruit because he voices his beliefs on Twitter and whatnot, and he has done nothing since I was told that. But land a top 15 class and continue to bring in talent. So broke down some of his film, added some intel on the football side of things, decided for that. So get over there, sign up for that today. We'd love to have you. If you're interested in buying some merchandise for the Uptempo podcast, go over to the warportshop.com. Check us out over there. Get you a t-shirt. We would love it and appreciate it greatly. Now, Blake, as the baseball's going on, Auburn
mhm.
currently up 4-0 on Troy, but we had a very interesting opening series this weekend versus Holy
Yep.
Cross. End up taking it 2-1. Win the Friday game, lose the Saturday game 4-2. I think the bats finally kind of came alive Sunday and won that one 14-6. So, just what were your overall thoughts on the opening weekend? And we pulled out a series dub, but felt like we left some things on the table. There's definitely a lot to clean up, huh?
Yeah, look, I'll just keep it without going super in depth. I'll keep it like this. It's very early in the season. I was live Friday night, and when things weren't looking great, we got to a slow start. You know, it was 2-1 in the sixth. I was telling folks this. I was like, "Hey, look, I was in high school, my junior year. We were the number 2 ranked team in the state of Alabama. We played a team and they were absolutely horrible, y'all. They were terrible. They were awful. Like a team that we should have beat 20-0. All right. They come to our field, to our house, and they waxed us.
Mm.
Waxed us. And they didn't have not one guy go play college baseball. Not one. They were horrible. We like one of those teams where you used to laugh when they would get off the bus and you'd be like, come on, man. But
Right.
guess what? We went in, we weren't prepared. We took them as a joke and they waxed us. Now we didn't lose but 7 games all year, and one of those they were one of them. All right,
Yeah.
it was embarrassing. That's just how weird baseball is. Any given day, man, it's a super weird sport. Um, and sometimes at the beginning of the year, pitching is going to be ahead of hitting. All right, it's going to take, the guys. Yes, they played fall ball. Yes, they've been practicing and taking cuts off of live BP and all that stuff. Right. Um, it's still different. Like you're not facing your guys anymore. Like those live ABs aren't your guys anymore. So it takes a minute to get hot. And I I, I don't see Auburn's offense struggling the way it did in week 1. I don't see it struggling all year like that. We got too many hitters, man. Like Ike struggled in that first weekend. It took him a minute to get going. Coop, it took him a minute to get going. Once he got rolling, he started rolling. But a lot of these guys, man, like they can smash. Derek Fabian hit a ball. He pulled a ball in the 8th inning in game 2. If that ball's 3 foot higher, it's a tie game, and we're making something shake in game 2. That's just the crazy sport of baseball. I'll tell you something that I was impressed with was pitching. All right, now I need to see more because it was Holy Cross. I want to see the same rotation this weekend against Wright State. Wright State's going to hit the ball. They're going to come. They're going to have offense. They always do. But I was impressed of how we avoided the big inning. Like even in the game we lost, man. Like there was no big inning. We avoided all the big innings that we faced last year, where we would have, we would make an error and it would be first and third with no outs. Like we got out of one of those. We had a true freshman get out of one of those unscathed. He got a strikeout and then a ground ball double play. Like we avoided that 6-run inning where last year we're beating the piss out of Tennessee 7-2, and we end up losing 9-8 because in one inning we give up 6 runs,
Mm.
and it's just like, here we go, man, walk after walk after walk. Uh, so I feel like yes, we did lose to Holy Cross, but I said this in the game day group chat the other night is if it makes you feel any better, Georgia lost to UNC Wilmington. That's just how weird baseball is. Opening day, the number 1 team in the country went 9 innings with Elon and won 3-2, I believe, or 4-2. Texas A&M, they struggled. Like so, baseball is just it's slow, it's weird, man. It's sometimes it's difficult. I mean, hey, look, I tell people this, Dustin. It's a sport where 30% means you're a Hall of Famer. All right,
Right.
you're an all-time great if you hit for 300. All right. I know I broke some math down for y'all earlier on Twitter. Um, but sorry. But look, 30%, man. And you're an all-time great. 30%. And I don't think Auburn's going to come out that sluggish this coming weekend. You obviously see tonight they haven't come out that sluggish. One thing I do want to say, I just saw Ike lay out for a ball in right field. I think Ike Irish's days of catching are over. And the reason I say that is because he's not going to catch at the next level, and it also frees up another stick in your lineup. You can see Fralick, he's playing 3B tonight. There's options there if Ike plays right field. Obviously, he has the plus arm out and right. He can throw guys out. That ball's touched from Troy.
My goodness
Um,
person.
um,
Mm.
but like there's options there with Ike not catching. So moving him out to right will help him in the MLB draft, and it'll also help this Auburn baseball team. So I think that's a big thing too. Cade Fisher, I think he was a little pissed off that he got yanked at 50 pitches at Friday night, but I think that was planned. I don't think it was anything with he felt something or anything like that. I think it was all planned, but he looked a little ticked off, and I like that. That's a competitor. So, yeah, man. I let's continue. Let's relax with the Holy Cross loss, and let's keep getting better, man. Like we got to get out of this inning right here. Carson Myers has got to find a way.
Yeah, I agree with what you said about Ike. It was at the fall ball doubleheader with Florida State here in Pensacola. I was in the press box sitting next to a guy that writes for D1 baseball, and he had just got done talking to a lot of scouts, and
Mm-hmm.
he said that they all had kind of saw Ike the outfield really begin to play there.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have to, you got to play him at DH until he works into that role and gets comfortable there. I can tell you one thing I did notice. I did notice this weekend. Bobby Pierce ain't throwing them balls from the outfield no more to home plate, son. I got a little spoiled.
Yeah,
That guy around in third. He slid in there safe. I said, "Yeah, Bobby ain't out there no more."
that's a
I gotta
fact.
give a shout out to Kade Bellows, man.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable for his mom to pass away of cancer Friday morning, to come out there Friday night to perform the way he did, to hit a home run, and then really was the best Auburn player the entire weekend.
Yep.
Out just giving them hell on the base pass, causing a problem all weekend on the base pass, stole several bases, and was smacking the ball all around the yard. Just the mental toughness to do that. It's really really impressive, and he's also a really good baseball player. We kind of thought that this year, you saw him coming on at the end of last year, you felt like he might be ready to break out, and so far so good. But obviously, everything that him and his family are going for, we're praying for him. But that's a very strong young man, and it's super impressive, and he's playing great baseball. So shout out to Cade. And one thing that really stood out to me too, Blake, was just the importance of the power in the pop in Cooper McMurray's bat.
Yeah.
Coop's gotta be that guy. I mean, he had that big home run, kind of blew the game open.
Yep.
But he's got to be that dude, man. When there's people on base and Cooper's up, he's got to smack it in the gap or hit it over the wall. The power of his bat is going to be crucial to this Auburn lineup this year, in my opinion.
I agree 100%. Former Auburn Tiger Mikey Bello is at the plate for the Troy Trojans right now.
Mm, Portal life, portal
Pop
life.
him up. Oh, it got out of play. Yeah, man. Look, I was live Friday night, and Cade, they broke the story of his mom passing away, and just I was thinking, I don't know how I don't know how that kid, I don't know how he did it, man. I really don't. That's one of the more special moments in college sports that I've seen for real. I think the guts for him to go out there and play, and then have the series that he had, not just that moment, but the entire series. For him to hit a bomb, man, like hours after he lost his mother, insane. Heck of a kid, and this is an era where we call kids soft, and we call them NIL babies, and they don't want to play, and yada yada yada. Can't call that dude soft, man. Can't
Facts.
call him soft. Um, but overall, we're I think we'll continue to improve and we'll be all right at the end of the day. Hopefully, hopefully.
Yeah, Auburn just commits a big error, allows Troy to score multiple runs, and that's kind of where I'll finish off. Is looking back at this Holy Cross series, you win Friday night, you commit 0 errors. You lose Saturday, you commit 3 errors. You win Saturday, you have 0 errors. So, and we're seeing Auburn right now early in this game versus Troy making mistakes in the field that are leading to runs for the Trojans. So, look, you got to clean it up, man. It definitely was a problem at times last year. I mean, I was at the game where we committed 7 errors. So, got to clean that up if you want to be a serious baseball team. You can't give away outs in the SEC. So,
Hmm.
and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys have not already. We got the basketball game tomorrow at 8, so we'll be on later this week to review that and talk about Bruce Pearl and the boys, man, sitting steady at number 1. Still got some big games ahead of us, but really excited and just got to stay healthy, Blake, and make this Final Four run, man. So,
That's a
oh,
fact.
and real quick, I got to give the shout out. Y'all are saying it in the comments. Auburn softball starting off 11-0, going
Yeah,
down to St. Petersburg last week and just sweeping the competition, winning that tournament, man. They did a hell of a job. So them girls are off to a hot start, and it's good to see competent coaching, seeing competent coaching applied on the softball diamond, and to see Auburn softball bouncing back already at 11-0. We'll see how it all plays out when SEC play starts, but definitely feel like the program is going in the right direction, and
yeah.
hopefully in a couple of years we'll be right back to where we were competing for women's college world series and all that kind of stuff. So just smash that thumbs up button, share this out on social media, sub to the channel if you haven't, and we'll see you guys later in the week. It's War Damn Eagle, baby. I'm out.
We're down.